What's your life goal, and have you achieved it?
Yeah, I married you.
Aw, gross.
You really need to go out there and make sure the whole world hates you. Oh, perfect.
My butthole is all over the internet.
A fine wine. She keeps me in the basement and pulls me out when she needs me.
If I drink Sambuca, he's getting it.
I bought a case.
Can tell a lot about a person by the way their tits, pussy, or dick looks.
You come near my cheeks and it's not going to be a good day for you, homie. This is going to be special.
Welcome to the Two Onions podcast with Dani Daniels and Vic. What's up, guys? This is Dani Daniels. Welcome to the Two Onions podcast with me and Vic.
That would be me. I'm the end Vic.
I have one of my very, very good friends on today who I love to fuck with, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
I knew that.
Chad Braverman is here from Doc Johnson.
Hello,
the man, the myth, the legend.
Those of you who don't know Doc Johnson, well, just look at the screen. And those of you who are listening, think dildo.
No, it's not a dildo. I subtly have put my my main squeeze Doc Johnson toy on the table for today's show. So
Yeah, I was just going with
very
the
subtle.
obvious. I was going with the obvious.
So Chad is responsible for all the sex toys you know and love,
On the planet.
including molding my vagina.
Although I didn't do it personally.
No,
I
you
wish I
didn't.
had.
You were there though.
I was there. Yeah, of course. I always am there.
Always.
You-
I'm like,
quality
hey,
control.
I'm like, I just have to make sure everything's,
What about the
going.
dudes? Are you there for those?
Sometimes.
Quality control.
Otherwise, people in my office would be like, you're only here for the women. So I got to come in and, take a dick every once in a while.
Yeah, but it's the difference between whether you're on your phone or not on your phone. You know?
Exactly.
It's like,
No, it's funny because there was a picture of me that got put up of a girl getting molded. She literally, when we do sort of like the missionary first.
Yeah.
And then we do like on your hands and knees, kind of like doggy style. So
Yeah.
we can get like the full butt. And there's literally a picture from almost like from the girl's head though. So you can't really see anything, but you can see that she's basically spread eagle
Yeah.
in doggy style position. And there's me in the background, literally leaning up against the wall on my phone. And someone, like one of my group of friends, like sent it to this like big group chat of like all my boys. And they were like, only Chad
So
would
spoiled.
not be looking
So spoiled.
at this girl's butthole right now.
See, that's-
Like he's so jaded that he's just on his phone, like probably texting
Was
us.
it covered yet or not covered?
Oh no, it was like fully butthole out.
Oh.
Like yeah.
Oh, yeah, no.
I mean,
You
look,
didn't sneak a
here.
peek?
I'm very slick. Okay, I've been doing this. I grew up in this business. Like I've been doing this my whole life. Like that I'm doing one of these. Like I don't want to make the girl feel uncomfortable.
be
Little
honest.
side-eye butthole peek?
But
you had the camera on, so it looked like you were
If-
texting, but
if
you were actually
there's-
zooming in.
If there's a naked girl in front of me, I've seen it. I've checked out the whole product, and then I can just act like I'm on my phone.
To be fair, you were very professional
Yeah, I have to be.
when I got molded.
Yeah, you really
I
don't have a
remember
choice.
like you had the good side-eye butthole peek.
Have to be. You take a look, but then you just got to be like, oh, I don't care. I've
For-
seen this a million times.
For
This
those
isn't
of you
weird.
listening that don't know this, if you get molded to have a toy made, male or female, you pretty much show up, Chad brings you into this room.
This is how you get made.
You become a made man.
When I did it, they told me to just shave, and I refused because I didn't
remember.
want to grow my bush back. So they lay you down. Yeah, you started on your back, right? I started on my
Yeah,
back.
normally we
legs
like start on the back.
And then like two people come in and like slap this like putty on you, and you have to like hold really, really still, and you can like feel it drying. And when it dried, it got stuck in my bush.
Oh, joy.
Well, we put a bunch of Vaseline on you.
But I still, there were some
Well, you had the
casualties.
biggest bush that anyone's ever had that got molded because almost everyone else
There's an
has
award.
has shaved for that event.
Yeah.
Like even if they had a bush, which really you kind of were like one of the big bringing the bush back people.
Yeah.
Which do you remember my campaign? I
Oh,
ran
yeah.
on. I ran
Oh,
on
yeah.
that. I ran for
Bring
president
back
in I ran for president in 2008 on Bring Back the
That
Bush.
might be the campaign
That was
this
my
year.
platform. But yeah, so you really didn't even trim down.
No, I was really sassy.
Like we've
I was
had
like,
girls
no, I'm
trim
not doing
down
that.
and everything like that. So we slathered you in Vaseline, and I do remember that we had to cut a little bit.
Yeah,
Remember we
yeah.
had to
It
like,
literally like my bush hair got like stuck in the mold, and they had to like take scissors and like pull it all off and wedge it and like Yeah.
Yeah, you had a huge bush though.
So
It was
to back up for our audience who really hasn't quite figured out what the fuck is going on here, Doc Johnson makes sex toys. If we haven't
Yeah, there we
actually
go.
said
we
that
talked
since the
about-
beginning of this episode,
like, what
you're
the
wondering
hell are
what
they
it.
talking
Doc
about?
Johnson is not a gynecologist. It's not an actual doctor. It's actually a sex toy company.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, all made in America, correct? Is that
About
mostly?
75%.
Yeah.
All of our products made in North Hollywood, so Los Angeles, California, U.S. manufacturing. Been around since 1976.
Nice.
Making everything: dildos, butt plugs, vibrators, strokers, like this main squeeze right here. You name it, pocket pussies,
Lubes. I like your lube
lubes.
room.
Yeah, we got a whole lube room. We
got a
make
lube-
all
Hey,
of our
literally,
lubricants
when
in-house.
you show up,
lube
it
room.
looks like Willy Wonka's factory, but with dicks.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It is the coolest place
Talk about
ever.
the golden ticket.
Well, and it's cool because we're the only ones that do it. There's so many people in our industry that are like, we're telling them to come take a tour, and they're like, oh, okay, whatever, because they think
I
they're
did
just
that.
going to see boxes,
Right,
like
right.
warehouses, where it's kind of like, okay, cool, warehouse. But then you come to our place, and the minute you open up the back door,
Yeah.
the first thing we bring you into is like production, and then people are just like, holy shit, like
Yeah,
It
what?
is so cool.
I'm assuming
Like,
everybody
what is
probably thinks
this?
shit's being shipped in from Hong Kong, and it's just like you're
No, I
moving
thought-
I thought
it was gonna be a
yeah.
And
warehouse
I've
of
been to other
toys.
manufacturers, and it's just boxes. It's literally corrugated boxes as far as the eye can see, and you're just kind of like, cool, you're organized. Like, I get, like, you're like, okay,
That's got to be
like,
a fetish for somebody.
that's what it is, right? It's just like organized boxes. But like at our place, we're manufacturing. So like it's loud and there's like product being made and there's product being big dicks being pulled out of molds and
How do you hire your staff?
Painful.
I've always wondered that.
like in what facility? Like you're talking like
Well,
the
you
people
have,
that are
like,
doing
the
the
guy-
manufacturing or
Everything. Like there's the guy that's like shooting the stuff into the dick molds.
Yeah.
You have like your room of like
want that
awesome
business card.
grandmas that paint the dicks, which is my personal favorite. Like where do you find grandmas?
Phallus artist.
We're one of the biggest employers in North Hollywood, and I mean, people do know us. They know that we are a good company. We have had longevity, so it's a stable job. Obviously, what we do is a little different than most people, but we have a lot of family that have had like, women that have been with us for 20, 30 years, and then like their kids start working for us as well when
Yeah.
they're of age, and so people that have just kind of come through the ranks, and again, because I think we are a really good employer, and the longevity of our people show that. The proof is in the pudding. When you have people that like started when they were 18,
Yeah.
and they've been there for 30 years, well, they're 48 now, almost 50 years old, and so that's why we have some. I guess what you would refer to as a grandma.
You do. I remember when you gave me the tour, like it was like a room, and then you told me you're like they also were the ones that like sewn because one of my toys has a bush, and they sew the
that
hair
toy.
in the bush.
Bane of
Hey,
my
you-
existence.
But you got an award.
Hey,
You
it's
got an
award-winning.
It's an
It's an
award-winning
toy.
bush.
Yeah,
Because
it's an
of-
award-winning bush.
And I feel
Me
like
being a
we
pain in
were
the ass.
part of the reason you started dailybush.com
Yeah.
or Daily Bush,
Yeah.
whatever you do with your Daily Bush. But yeah, no, I mean, so honestly, for that type of stuff, it's really about the training that happens in house. Like it's I would say it's more sort of day laborer type work. It's not necessarily skilled. The manufacturing stuff, you can't start there on day one, but there's a training process for that. And then when you get to sort of like the labs and the formulating and the lubricant and all that, well, then you have to have like at least a background in some sort of chemical background, whether you're going to be part of the
Right.
R&D department, whether you're going to be part of the formulating department. But a lot of things are able to be trained in-house.
Okay.
And then when you get to the front office, it's
And it sounds like you
Sales.
said
the
it's like a
same
big
as
family.
every other business.
So
it's
question: How many people do you employ approximately?
so about right now we're at about like 250.
250 people.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
That's a lot of bodies
And
with
then
jobs.
like busy season, we can like
See,
move
folks,
up to
sex pays.
about 350, I would say.
Mhm.
What's busy season?
October through Valentine's.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
makes sense.
Yeah. So, people,
Christmas dildo.
holidays.
Everyone wants a dildo.
Yes.
Valentine's is our Super Bowl. Like Valentine's is our Christmas, but
Yeah.
Christmas is still really good. And I always say, like, I think like most of the countries, it's like it's cold. People are staying home. They're shopping online. They're fucking more. Like,
And
and
that's
they're
why there's a
buying
lot of
products.
babies in October and November.
Exactly. You're
Yeah.
also in a giving season, so you're thinking about like spending money on things that maybe you wouldn't have necessarily spent money on before.
True.
So that's when a lot of the sex toys are bought. So we can ramp up to somewhere between like 300 and 350. In sort of like the glory days of like people, we were up to like 500.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So
a
that's
lot of
how we
jobs.
kind of have
Yeah.
like the name, especially in our area, as like a big employer for people. So we get a lot of people coming like to our office and being like, Are you hiring? Are you hiring?
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
So
That'd be a fun job to have.
No.
I think so. I mean,
What do you do
you
for a
know,
living? Well,
Do you-
I sew Dani Daniels Bush.
Can I do?
That's my job.
Show them.
each one of those hairs has to be sewn one by one. One
You
by
are
one.
employing
Yeah.
people.
And you can't fake it because the bush is big. It's not like you just have like a landing strip.
No, it's
You
like
know, so if people, and our thing always is like, we're trying to bring the fantasy, to real life. So if you're going to buy your product and
Yeah.
you want to like watch Dani Daniels and that's who your favorite person is, and it's like, we're going to have the bush. We're not going to have a small bush that doesn't match.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So then, we're putting, I remember when I was literally chalking out the area on the Mons Venus, on the pelvic
because
bone.
it's perfectly accurate.
Like
I
I
gotta say,
literally
like,
chalked it out with them, and then we made one. There wasn't enough. We made it more.
no,
and
more
then,
bush, more hair.
Well, no. From then, what they did actually, Diana, who molded you, was really smart. Is she actually engraved the cast master with the
Oh.
line? So then every mold we made after that basically had that very thin line.
Mhm.
And that was the guide for how much hair needed to go in. And I really think that it ended up being like 250 like individual
Really?
strands
That's-
of hair. So those all got put
Nice.
on by someone. Like, boop, boop.
Creating jobs.
It's
I love
crazy.
this.
Hey, you
This is
know.
good.
I've done it too,
Quality.
by the way.
Employ
It's
America.
a quality pussy you can buy.
Exactly.
I've done it. I've put the hairs in.
And it's super soft.
Oh yeah, it's
you can
nice.
pet it, you can braid it.
It's the right color too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's spot
Quality
on.
control. We like quality control.
Gotta do it. Gotta do it. I mean, people think it's just sex toys, but at the end of the day, it's like gotta deliver a quality product.
Oh yeah, I've
you
had
know.
bad sex toys, and they're
Oh,
like,
God.
you order something from, and it comes from like China, and it's just
You're
Yeah.
just- yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
For me, I have a lot of allergies. None of your stuff makes me break out.
Oh, that's good.
Like everything is pristine and perfect, and I love it.
It's great.
I'm also very spoiled, so
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'll
you've-
call Chad, be like, can you send me some dicks?
Yeah, and then you got like 3
I know.
boxes today. So
Literally. I have so much stuff here.
So,
Like,
yeah, so before we get to that product,
my
so
God.
you're the second generation in this at this point?
yeah,
Chad?
so
Yeah.
my dad started it in 1976, and I started there 15 years ago this year.
Oh, wow.
July 6th of this year, I think, was my 15th anniversary. But I worked there every summer going into high school. So like the summer going into 9th grade was the first summer I started there, and then I worked there every summer, like 9th going into 10th. 10th
what was your
into
first
11th.
job there?
Shipping. I worked in the shipping department.
Aw.
Yeah, you got to load up the boxes.
I had
yeah.
I had a dolly,
Oh.
and I used to just take boxes that were coming in from like production and get them out on the shelf, and then sometimes I would take them from the shelf over to like a pallet. And
Was that your
get a
dad's
pallet
doing? Like
together.
having you do everything there?
yeah, I mean, he basically said to me when I was going into 9th grade that I didn't have to work for him, but I had to have a job. He's like,
Cool.
you got to get a job. I don't care where it is, and you can work for me if you want to.
Mhm.
And then like I'm gonna put you in sort of a regular position and like have you learn the business. Because if at the end of the day, if I want you to come into the business, but if you don't know what you want to do, or if that's what you think you want to do, like start learning it now.
Yeah.
Start learning why we do the way we do, and even
Yeah,
have
makes sense.
ideas as to like what's wrong about what we're doing. You know,
Yeah.
because like he didn't go to college, so he's like, you're gonna go away to college. You're gonna learn things that I never learned. Like, and if you do want to come into the business, maybe you're gonna bring something back that like I wouldn't even have known about, or other people here wouldn't have known about. So I did
Was it-
shipping for a year. I did production. I did filling. I mean, I literally worked in every single department in that company before I started working there, like when I graduated college.
Oh, wow.
And then
So
I
you
started
know.
in purchasing.
So you've seen
for a
every
while.
system that goes through the company. You've seen every parts and moving
Yeah, and it
parts.
changed. Something would change from summer to summer, or someone would come in, a new GM or a new, production manager, and everyone brings their sort of like, skill set to the job or
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, I mean, and then when I started working, it was purchasing, and that gives you sort of like a really like bird's eye view of everything the company does. Like, what are you using? What are you buying? Why are you buying it, et cetera. So like, I mean, he set me up for what I'm doing today, you know, and that ended up being like, yeah, I guess why not fucking
Is it
go
what
make
you always wanted to do, or was there ever a moment where you're like, maybe I should do something else? Or...
No, I think that there was definitely ideas for me of like, okay, I would love to do this or love to do that, but it was nothing that I ever felt strongly enough in pursuing. And also like growing up as sort of like an only child and like feeling like, well, if I don't take over the business, then
the guilt, yeah.
there's the Jewish.
I got it. Only
First of all, like
guilt.
I'm half Jewish, half Italian Catholic, so
Oh,
like,
boy.
That's a lot of guilt.
so the
Pizza
guilt
bagel.
is like, the guilt is out of control. So
Yeah.
there was a part of me that felt like, well, that'll suck if Ron would basically have to sell the company.
Yeah.
Basically, you know, like what else is he really going to do? There's no one like, you know, to give it to. So I wanted to, if I didn't really have something I knew for sure in my heart that I wanted to do, I was like, okay, this is cool. First and foremost, it's a cool job, you know, and like it's fun and it's exciting. And so like, why not give this a try? You know, like I'm very fortunate. I know I could have given this a try and left in 5 years, really. Like I have a lot of, you know, good fortune in my life and like, you know, good family and all that. So I could have done it and not continued with it. But once I got there, it's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You know, so
And fast forward, and 2 years ago, you had a major story in the New York Times about the company. Or a year ago.
I mean, and that's the other thing. And honestly, I feel like if I'm going to pat myself on the back, I really did feel like if I would not have come into the business if I didn't feel like there was huge cultural shifts and changes that I would have been able to implement at the company.
Oh, that makes
Like,
sense.
I don't feel like we're a 10-generation old company where it's like, okay, we make Budweiser.
Yeah.
And like,
That's all. you
I'm
can't
Budweiser
change.
the 10th, and I'm just going to come in and just like make my fortune, and like we just make beer.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, sure, you're going to do some deals and you're going to do whatever you're going to do, and there's ways to ruin the companies, but I felt like I could easily ruin Doc Johnson.
Right.
Like, it's a 1-generation old company. Like, I could have run it into the ground. I still can, but like, I felt like there was a lot of things that I could accomplish that like Ron just never had the chance to accomplish, or wasn't
Ron
even
is your
po-
dad.
Yeah, Ron's
for
my dad.
For those listening that don't
For
know.
everyone that's I call him Ron. I never wanted to be like the kid walking around being like, my dad said that.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
My
yeah.
dad owns the company.
My dad said yes, the 2 TPS reports are due.
Oh,
So
Ron.
so Ron, but I mean, I felt like, you know, there's a lot of opportunity he didn't have. Like, for instance, just the mainstreaming of the industry.
Right, right.
Like, the industry's becoming more mainstream. And I always felt like that's what's possible, right?
Yeah.
Like, when is it going to happen? What's going to be the tipping point? When is someone going to be...
Well, he was out in the 70s. He's in the Wild West. I mean, you're talking
Wild
Linda
West.
Lovelace, but it kind of had a mainstream appeal. Deep Throat was playing down the block, basically.
Well, it was.
And
it
then
almost
the worm
was,
turned
exactly.
in the 80s. The worm turned ugly.
And it got mainstream for some of the like the movies and
Yeah.
things. They were trying to become like they were trying to do the premieres
Right.
and all that sort of stuff, and that kind of became a little more mainstream. But
Were
on the
sex
toy
toys?
side, they just were like a Wild West is exactly the
Yeah.
way we describe it. I mean, you know, when Ron started, they were like in the bargain bins in the sex stores.
In the
like
back
the
of
sex
Mad
stores
Magazine.
ran.
Yeah,
The
National
sex stores
Lampoon.
made their profit on video, VHS, and the peep shows, and
Like,
like
if
the
you
little
went to a
booths and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
If you went into
Absolutely.
a sex shop and bought a dildo, would you be
There
looked at weird?
I mean, I was young
Or-
then. There really wasn't that many sex shops. Like you said,
Yeah.
it was VH. It was like video recordings and peep shows. And even, I mean, the
Oh,
video
okay.
recordings really wasn't until the 80s. It was mostly, sex shops were mostly peep shows in
Yeah,
Times
peep
Square.
shows and the jerk off booths
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't get
So-
the
How do
videos
you
until the 80s.
sell sex toys then in that era?
I mean, they had small selections of them. And I mean, you know, look, when Ron started, I mean, the guy is a visionary in my mind in a lot of ways. But I will also say, and he'll be the first to admit it, like, he came at a time when there was a lot of demand and no supply.
Right.
You know, so he was just like, okay, fuck, you want this? Like, all right. And then he'd be like, well, I guess we'll make it in extra large too. And like,
Purple
I mean,
and blue
he's the
and-
first to say, like, they were just throwing shit up against the wall and it was all sticking because people were like, yes, give us sex toys. Like, we want sex toys. There aren't any out there. So that's how the company just grew so quickly, like almost too quickly in a lot of ways, you know? But I felt like there's a lot of room for growth, and you know, we get to the stage where we are today, where the New York Times writes this huge article on us. You know, 2 years ago, it's like front cover of the Sunday Style section. We had a big
It was
article in Los
mainstream.
Angeles Magazine. Walmart is now making their own sex toys, and they're selling them in store, which is, you know, that to me is
Unbelievable.
exactly what I was looking
Oh,
for.
I
Like
didn't know
10
that.
years, like
Yeah.
what's the tipping point? Who's going to be the first mover?
Yeah.
to do this. And
And
it's like,
that's a company that wouldn't even allow
feel like
Playboy in.
Exactly.
A couple years
Amazon
ago.
was one of the first too, because
Yeah,
you know
Amazon is like they opened up like Walmart wouldn't allow Playboy explicit language DVDs and CDs in there.
Really?
Yeah.
They were like they ratcheted down. And Maxim wasn't even allowed in.
Amazon is great because it's super mainstream, and not to disparage Amazon, but Amazon is a whore in the sense of like
That's true.
they will sell anything.
That's true.
Like they've never been someone to be like, oh no, that's not up our alley.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, it's people won't sell to Amazon. Amazon would buy fucking any product in the
As
world
long as
that
it-
anyone's
yeah,
making.
It's very true.
Walmart, on the other hand, is like a super conservative company that wouldn't do this.
Yeah,
like they
they're
wouldn't even sell it
literally-
online.
I mean, both in a
And-
red state.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now people are going to go to Walmart for their groceries and for all their other stuff, and they might like throw a vibrator in there or like a C-ring in there. Some of these other little items they're selling. I mean, it's a super curated line. It's like only like 5 items deep, but like, you know what? They're selling sex toys.
Yeah.
Like, straight up, they're selling sex toys, and that to me is like that's right now like the cultural shift that I was looking for. So I feel like what's on the horizon is things that even like Ron would never have envisioned, and I don't think I even really envisioned 15 years ago, but I do feel like I had this concept in my mind of where can I leave the company for the next generation? You know, like now I have a son now, and it's like, okay, for the first time I'm starting to think like, okay, I actually have someone to take over this company.
Yeah.
Will it be here within this sort of definition in the next 40 years? And like, what will I give to him?
Yeah.
Because it won't be the same company that Ron, basically passed down to me. It'll be different in a lot of ways. And my hope is that it's going to be, way bigger than what it is today, a lot different and way more just sort of like within the consumer's like awareness. Because the one thing that our industry lacks is brand awareness.
Right.
We don't really have a lot of brand awareness. Like there's not a lot of like understanding of who makes the products that you're buying. People go into stores.
Well, even
they
just being
get-
able to put products on like social media platforms is almost impossible.
Still banned,
Yeah,
and
still
like we
banned.
can't. I mean, there's Dame Products is fighting like the New York Metro system out here for like the subway ads and stuff like that. That like all these penile erection like dysfunction things can like sell their things on advertisements, but like we can't sell sex toys and
Yeah.
stuff like that, or we can't advertise sex toys. So there's still a lot of closed roadblocks for us, even though it is becoming more mainstream. So like it's all these things when they start opening up is what's going to bring more brand awareness to our industry, and people are going to know what the product they are. I mean, I always say you go into a sex store today and you kind of sort of get led down a path by the person working at that store.
Right.
Yeah.
People go in, they're like, "Hey, what's this?" And you don't know what they're selling you or why they're selling it to you.
Yeah.
If I go into Foot Locker and I'm going and looking for like a Nike or an Adidas or a Reebok, and the guy there is like, "Oh no, I have this new brand I really want to show you. It's called like Ning Hai." And they bring it over, I'd be like, "No, guy,
Yeah.
I'm not buying that fucking knockoff shoe. I want a Nike. Thank you very much."
Yeah.
Like, I'm not walking out of here with that. But in the sex toy industry, you walk into a store, a lot of people, they might get sold on something. They have no clue what
Or
it
just
is.
maybe the person doesn't know anything in the store because they're just working the store.
For sure.
Right.
And that's what they
You
don't,
know?
that's what the
Yeah.
customer doesn't know.
What's the best dildo? I don't know. Oh, this one.
The one that they're
Yeah, well,
making the
the-
most
yeah, the-
money
yeah,
on.
the boss is
or
telling
one
them
that
push,
they,
yeah, push
the one
this
that they
one.
might be getting spiffed on
Right,
or
yeah.
something like that.
A little
So
under the table.
that's my main goal right now is like brand awareness. How do I get Doc Johnson, the name Doc Johnson, in front of as many eyeballs as possible?
I gotta tell you what, they should follow your social media because it's fucking hysterical.
Our
It
social
is.
media is pretty
Your
good,
social-
right?
It is.
Social
It's
media is
really good.
I see a lot of companies do stuff, and you're like, "Oh, that's horrible." But you guys like do it right. You make it social. You make it fun. You make it like really interesting. It's-
Humorous.
So what is it?
I love
Is it
anything
it's,
funny.
Instagram is at Doc Johnson.
Doc Johnson USA. At
yeah,
Doc
Doc
Johnson,
Johnson
USA.
USA.
Yeah, someone stole
Seriously,
Doc
folks.
Johnson. If you're out there and you own Doc Johnson, stop being a motherfucker. Just give it to the people that actually do it. It's like some doctor in like Birmingham.
Named
that,
Johnson?
like, yeah, it's like Dr. Johnson.
It's a
that doesn't
penile
use it.
erection doctor.
Oh my God.
He has like one follower, like
Yeah.
follows 0, no posts. But yeah, I mean, and the social media thing, and that was one of the things that I spoke about with like, the people that do that is like, just make this fun.
Yeah.
Make this social.
fun.
Like nobody wants to follow a company who's trying to sell you on their products
No.
every single day.
Right.
It's so boring. And these like highly like curated, like artsy shots of their product. It's like, no, man, make it fun. We're a sex toy company. Like
Right.
there's so much fun and funniness that can happen within and still be sexy or erotic or
Yeah.
whatever. And it's like,
Yeah.
just make the page
People
fun.
want to be entertained.
Just
They
let
don't-
people follow you,
Yeah, exactly.
And within the social media world, like this thing, this main squeeze, we do a lot with girls in the industry
Yeah.
and guys as well, but not under the main squeeze line, but we do a lot of the moldings. And what we started doing like late last year was molding girls of social media.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I
people
saw
that just
that. It
have a
was
lot of
awesome.
followers on social
That's
media,
fun.
like Britannia 187
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
this girl Playmate Irina and a few other girls. I mean, Britannia has 16.5 million followers on
I think
Instagram.
she actually has more now.
Yeah, I
she's
mean,
like
follow
probably
her.
as
She
of
has-
today,
yeah,
she probably has
yeah.
like 20,
Yeah,
20
she-
million, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's Doc Johnson. As far as I'm concerned, I consider those 20 million now like part of Doc Johnson's
Yeah.
social
Oh, yeah,
media
they're
like
a marketplace.
sphere. And that's brand awareness.
Absolutely.
And that's what like we're trying to do on a daily basis is just like get the name out there for people who are like, oh, what's Doc Johnson?
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, I follow Britannia.
Yeah. And
She's-
who doesn't
she
want to
likes
fuck
Doc
her?
Johnson. I follow Danny.
Like,
You know, and like you're awesome and an awesome ambassador. And like that was always our thing when we tried to partner with people is like who will be a good ambassador,
yeah.
right? To the
Not
company
just picking
who's
girls
good about
based on.
themselves and you know, you're great on like social media and your Snapchat and your Instagram and everything. And it's like that's who we want to be connected with.
Do you do that with your guys too? How do you pick your
Yeah,
guys?
we do. I mean, like guys and girls are definitely different, you know, but I think for guys it's even more so in the sense because there's a lot of guys who don't have followings. They're just sort of
Right.
performers.
Yeah.
And then there's guys that you see are kind of like they're getting sort of above that ceiling of just being a male performer.
like Small Hands.
Like
or-
Small Hands,
Yeah.
for instance, who we just did a deal with. And, you know, we also signed, and then we look for other avenues, right? So like with dildos, you think about who's using them. If a man's using a dildo, it's obviously more sort of skewed towards a gay man who's going to use a dildo. So
Yeah.
we signed a really big partnership with men.com and Sean Cody.
Aw.
Okay.
You know, and then and that's another brand awareness play too,
I'm
like
curious, too.
utilizing their avenues to like promote and cross promote and have the synergy between the two companies.
Because don't you do main squeezes with men as well?
Yeah, so mostly right now, I think the only guys that we do for Main Squeeze are part of the men.com and the Sean Cody because they are gay performers.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so like someone like Small Hands, for instance, I think with a lot of guys, I do talk about it with them. Like, hey, would you
do you
be-
want your butthole molded?
Yeah, like,
Are
do you
cool
want to
with
mold,
that?
like, you know, thinking in the end that, like, the only person that's going to probably use it is going to be a gay man.
Yeah.
And most guys don't care,
Yeah.
you know, but we haven't necessarily tested that market out fully yet about the idea of, like, a fully straight performer
I think there are
having a
a
main
lot of
squeeze.
straight performers that have a huge gay following.
Sure. I mean,
Yeah,
I've
would
I
make
think-
sense.
yeah.
would make
I've
sense.
definitely had that conversation with some of the performers. We haven't done it yet, but I think it's definitely something that we want to do. You know, and then the first person that we signed that was sort of outside the industry with the moldings as well for men is like we just did this deal with Safari that got like a lot of press, like TMZ and all these people picked it up because
Yeah.
you know he's a hip hop and R&B guy and he was on Love and Hip Hop New York and I think Atlanta and all this
Yeah,
sort of
so
stuff.
it's
And the
like-
guy like it was a clip of like his dick that went around. The guy's got like a 12-inch,
You're like, hey,
you know.
How you
and-
doing?
it's already on the internet.
And 10 years ago, if we had reached out to him and been like, hey, we're interested in doing a deal with you, it would have been like crickets, you
Oh,
know?
God,
And
yeah.
then this time we did, and it was like,
I mean, a couple
interest-
bucks. Yeah.
interesting, you know? And then all of a sudden, it's like 6 months later, it's like done. And
The industry is definitely changing and
you know.
becoming more accepted, and I love that though because
Yeah.
it's not that serious.
no, not at
It's
all.
just, like it's your dick.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I
would you
think-
mold your dick? Like,
You know, so
Have you
okay,
molded your dick?
Here's the funny thing. So Diana, again, I'll
which
shout
one
out.
is,
I'll shout out
wait,
Diana.
which one is yours?
It's that Jewish one down there at the bottom. It's a really small one, but it's cut. No, so I've never done it, and I definitely have wanted to. A, for the experience, and B, because I just think it would be fucking funny. And I have no issues with my dick at all. I'm not, you know, embarrassed of it or anything. But my problem is, realistically speaking, I need one of the molders to do it properly. And then
Yeah.
it just becomes a thing where it's
weird.
like, yeah, I can't have Diana like molding my like dick like
Yeah.
in the office. Like, and then like, I also know the work.
Wow.
I also know the work that goes into it in order to make it a product.
Yeah.
You know, which is
and
like,
now everyone is handling your
so
dick.
now everyone's like, oh, this is Chad's dick that we just molded, and they're like fixing the clay and you know adding 3 inches and you know.
I'm
and
gonna put a vein right here.
you know,
This is-
it's
my
not
God.
really
Oh, wow.
possible. For me, if it was, I definitely would have by now.
yeah.
That's funny.
What
but-
about testing your products?
Yeah, I mean, I don't test too many. It depends on what they are. Like, so like for main squeezes, let's say, right? Like what I don't test them all the time. But I will test like if we've really come up with some sort of like unique inner texture.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, is it a great idea that doesn't really translate into sensation?
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole idea with this is like, do you feel it on your penis when you put it in?
Yeah.
You know, and so we're always trying to come up with different concepts, different ways to like increase the stimulation and like, okay, we're gonna put like a little like massage bead here for like the underside of like the man's shaft right by the head. And it's like, okay, that's a great concept, but do you feel it?
Yeah,
Right.
is
And
it
so
worth it? Yeah.
I'll try it, other guys will try it, and we'll be like, oh yeah, this was really great. Or like
wanna be
these
in
ones
that
I
group
didn't
chat.
really feel at all. I've tried, you know,
Talk about a focus group.
I've tried other products. I give things to people a lot of times. I'll try things, you know, in my personal sex life,
Yeah.
you know, that are more like couples toys, vibrating C rings, and you know, like we have an item like the Tryst, which was, you know,
I have that.
really unique.
Wait.
Like when we first developed it, so I tried that to make sure that it was like,
Actually,
again,
this is probably a good time
So
for you
many
to go
toys.
through those toys.
there's so many.
Well, start with
like
the
that
first one.
prostate massager I've never
yeah.
tried right there.
Wait.
That thing's crazy.
Well, this one I liked, the Optimail.
Yeah,
So
this
make
is
sure-
great. That's
So
like my
describe it a little bit
I
for
got-
our listeners.
So I got a lot of fan questions about couples, like what's a good toy to start with as a couple? What should we use for vibrators? What should we use that we can both use? And the Optimail, it's a Cosmo Best Sex Toy, Best
Yep.
Couple Sex Toy, which I was like, yeah.
It did win
Again,
that.
mainstream. I love it. I'll let you explain. I'm like, I didn't make it. You made it.
No, so what I talk about this item like specifically is that a lot of guys get a little hang up when they hear about like a cock ring.
Yeah.
Because traditionally cock rings are worn over the shaft and under the balls, and it's really meant to help like trap the blood flow if you
It looks like a giant
have
hair tie.
any sort of like erectile dysfunction, whether
It
it's
does.
Sexy time right
It
there.
is, but like
well, if a girl puts her hair up in a hair tie, you know it's on.
Yeah, and if a guy
So,
puts
I
his
mean-
balls in a hair tie, you're in
Well-
deep shit.
No, but well, you're gonna have a very thick erection. But like, no, traditionally, I think guys steer away from them because they think, oh, that's for guys who can't get it up. Okay, but it's not really the case. It's like, yes, that was part of the reason why they were developed originally.
I always thought cock rings were so that guys didn't come quickly.
So that's another part of it. So you have these different elements with C rings. Like you have definitely trapping the blood flow for guys who might have a hard time keeping an erection.
Okay.
So if you get hard and you have a cock ring
tying
on,
off
it's
a
gonna,
balloon.
yeah, basically, in a lot of ways. Also, it's going to help delay ejaculation a little
Yeah.
bit because you are pressing right underneath the balls where you can help stop like ejaculation.
Yeah.
And then also you can release at the right time to have like a much stronger orgasm. It's almost like the backup happens.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
Boom.
Like a
The
like,
Hoover
like,
Dam
like
has
pinching
exploded.
a fire hose.
Exactly.
But a lot of the vibrating ones that are developed are really meant more as like a hands-free vibrator. So like this one right here, the way that we developed this item is I would never tell someone to put this under their balls. This should just go around your shaft.
Okay.
And that way you're really not cutting off any blood flow. You're really not necessarily doing this for any of those sort of traditional cock ring reasons. You're doing this to put it on your shaft. It's hands-free. And what I love about this is that the vibrator
That's what I was
runs
gonna say.
parallel to your shaft, which increases stimulation to the female during penetration.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like if I'm
perfect.
riding a dick, this is awesome.
Yeah, because
They-
then,
This is coming home with us.
then it's right up on the clit the whole time.
Yeah.
A
and
lot of the
I love
old
using a
ones-
vibrator while I'm fucking.
Yeah.
It
So
just
this
became
to me
part of our
is
focus
like
group.
something
Yeah.
that I can put in my purse and be like, well, I don't want to bring my vibrator because it's really heavy. But
No,
this
and this is
like
good
in
because
a-
it just stays in position. A
Yeah.
lot of the old vibrating C rings always ran perpendicular to the shaft,
or
which
it
I
was
never
like that
understood.
nubby thing that like bites.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it looks like
Bites? Does that have teeth?
no, it looked like one of those things that like Saint Bernards would wear that had like
Jesus.
alcohol in it, but it would like go on your
Well, that
dick.
would, that would be
And-
good for like pussy eating if there was like a little keg down there. I mean, that would a little brandy,
Little sip.
I
Little
can,
sip.
Oh my god, this one. Where is it? Oh wait, this is another one of my toys.
Oh yeah.
Should I just stack it up?
Yeah,
Ooh, I love this
you're,
one.
You
You're
got
now
the po-
blocking your
This
face.
was like one of this
You
was
got
one
the
of my
pocket pussy
favorite
and the main
days
squeeze.
ever. Is when you did me and Sheree DeVille
Oh, yeah,
together because
together.
Sheree is my real life best friend.
I know. I know.
But what I love
I follow
is that
your I follow your exploits.
you
Two for the price of one.
okay, so it's like one side is my pussy and one side is her butt. And
Yeah.
I remember texting her and be like, ha, it's your butt. You have to do all the butt stuff.
Yeah, that's the what was it, Kittens and Cougars
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
Kittens
That was
and
one of my
Cougars.
brilliant
I love
concepts.
that.
I'm gonna-
I love
I'm
that.
I'm gonna take full credit for Kittens and Cougars.
What's your favorite thing you've done
Ooh, a good question. Like developed, like
Yeah.
for me or
Yeah.
just the company?
No, for you.
for yourself?
For
Like,
yourself.
for example, the Kittens and Cougars, like a toy that you've, or a product.
I really like. I guess it kind of goes back, but I would say the Lucid Dream 14, because it just became such a big seller, and it was like one of the first items that we ever got. Like we won a Women's Health Award for it for like best vibrator. And that was kind of, again, going back to sort of like the tide changing. It was like the first time that had ever happened that like a mainstream magazine had done like a sex toy awards.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And this item won, and I was like, oh my God. 'Cause, like,
Yeah.
I remember being at the table, like developing that and like working on that product from like the real inception of it and then bringing it out to like an actual thing. And then you like win this award in a mainstream mag, not like an XBiz or an AVN award, but
Yeah.
just like women's health. And you were
Yeah.
like, oh, I was like, that's cool.
That's
So that's
badass.
That's
probably
definitely
still my
crossing over.
favorite. Trist also too, just because, I mean, I love that it's our number one and number two selling item in the entire company. Like
Yeah.
the purple's number one, black color's number two, and so it's like one and two.
Let me just say,
like, number one
if
selling
you're
item in the company.
interested in buying any of these, look at this shameless promo.
Oh, go
If
for
you're
it.
interested
Oh,
in
no, I
buying
like it.
any of these products, go to docjohnson.com and use my code Dani20 for 20% off.
DANI.
DANI 20.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you know I have a code?
I mean,
You
I
gave
do
me
You
a
do
that.
now.
You
Quick,
can,
recreate that.
you can
thing.
go to Shop Doc Johnson too. ShopDocJohnson.com or Doc Johnson.
Or Doc Johnson. Yeah. Depending. Or you can go to shopdocjohnson.com/Dani Daniels.
Oh, perfect.
And then just
Even-
go buy
even
all
better.
my holes.
Even better.
And one of Cherie's.
I think we do have all of your holes, right? Do we do
Yeah.
a butthole for you somewhere?
You didn't do my mouth, I don't think.
Well, we molded it.
Did you?
Yeah. Mouths just don't sell that well.
I'm not
Which I-
surprised. That's a little weird.
I don't know.
Looking
I
down
feel
at
like a
it.
lot of-
You didn't do my fist. I wanted you to do my fist. I have a fist. This
That's
is what-
our
look at this.
kink.
I
That's our
love
kink
this. I'm gonna
fist. That
open
one's
this.
dope. That's dual density.
So
Like,
a little side
this
note.
is-
A little side note to this. When we started dating, I was working for a company that was a little rough to work with, and I get a fist in the mail
I sent
from my
him
now wife.
I sent him an unmarked fist.
An unmarked
in a
fist. I knew exactly who it was, and I'm opening it up in a meeting, which was my stupidity, and with a card that says, "When life fists you in the ass, now you know what it feels like."
Oh my
That was
god.
we were dating about 3 weeks at that point. That's when
And
I knew
that's
I
when
was
you
going to
knew?
marry her.
That's when
Yeah,
you
so I
knew.
was like, okay.
I was gonna say
This
that's when
is
you knew you'd
awesome.
met the one.
Yeah.
So this I love, you guys. But I love this because it's a fist, and it has this is the plug for the
Yeah, for
plug
Vaculock.
attachment. Yeah.
We do a lot of our stuff now because like Vaculock's such a huge line of ours and it sells so well. So we just take advantage of it and we make a lot of our items Vaculock compatible. So when you buy this item, you can use it on its own, no problem. But if you want to buy like a Vaculock suction cup or one of those, you
Yeah.
love that one that's on my
Yeah.
desk, the
Yeah,
the
I have
knuckle
it.
up. No, that's the
No, this
that's
is the suction cup.
that's
right?
the suction cup one for main squeeze.
Oh, the knuckle one.
But we
that-
do like the brass knuckles that has a Vaculock on the top of it. So like it's a lot of attachments that you can buy for anything in our line that's Vaculock compatible. And we do it now over the whole of our line. Like we used to just do it in Vaculock. But now we make a lot of items. This one, the kink one that you just held up,
Yeah.
is now Vaculock compatible too.
I have
so,
a Vaculock suction cup that I use for my dildo when I want to fuck myself in the shower,
Yeah, exactly.
which is awesome.
Okay,
Side note.
good.
And now I can put my this fist in the shower.
This one's dope because
I
do you
know.
feel the
It's
dual
super-
density?
yeah, I was
it's
like-
nice.
And whose hand is this?
It's like,
Whose hand did you
it
mold?
looks female. It looks elegantly
I
female.
believe that this is Belladonna.
Really? Is it? Because I
Yeah.
have her other fist that you
You
gave
have the bitch
me.
fist.
Yeah,
The
that
bitch
one
fist.
is. That's
This
like
is-
takeable. The other
this
one
is
is
actually referred to as duck face now, I heard.
Duck
Like,
face
face.
fist?
Duck face.
yeah,
fist,
like
yeah.
this is called like a duck hand.
'Cause it's, like,
basically,
pointed at the end
Whereas
and-
this is like the actual traditional fist.
Mhm.
You know what? If you think about it,
well-
it kind of looks like a duck face, and if you put it up your ass, you're going to make that stupid duck face the
Oh my
girls make
gosh,
on
Nick.
Instagram. So it's like
well,
perfect.
it's true, but like that's how you actually fist someone.
Yeah.
You know make the duck hand, and then you end up making a fist when it's in their actual hole depending on what hole you're fucking.
Yeah.
The more
So
you
to
know.
have a fist toy,
We need that, like,
The more you know.
you have to eat.
we need that. You guys need
can't
that
just
drop.
butthole punch somebody. You have to like ease it in.
Butthole punch.
I need the more you know drop. We need the more you know drop.
I love that. I've never heard butthole punch
Yes.
before. I'm gonna name a product that.
The butthole punch?
Yeah,
that's
like
a-
our next
Can it be
fist
my
will yeah, absolutely.
Double fist, just
Just a butthole punch. But yeah, this is I believe this is Belladonna's hand. We molded her hand.
Oh.
We had talked
all
about
these
needing
things.
like a female hand because our other one's big. It's like my hand basically, which it's like a big.
no.
fist.
I have man hands. Like that would not. I'm like the
Yeah, you do have big
expert
hands.
vision.
Shit, I never noticed that.
Yeah, I have huge hands.
Got a big dick
That's actually
I
been-
would have a huge cock
You'd
though
have
as
a
a dude.
huge
I'd
dick
be so excited.
with a massive bush.
yeah, I wouldn't trim any of it.
No,
It would look like an escaping
Huge
like
like.
bush.
an old 70s fro.
Like you wouldn't even really know how big the dick was.
You would
like,
have to
you
dig
know?
for it.
Yeah.
You gotta dig for it.
Yeah.
Like there's like 4 more inches in here.
Looking like Clarence Thomas
a
Jr. on the
huge
Mod
dick.
Squad, huge fro going on there.
Okay, so this I like for couples.
Good head.
Yes,
Yeah, great.
all
line.
of it.
Yeah.
Because I have your deep throat spray, which is also good.
Which I love that.
Which-
You just carry that around like it's a Banaka blast. Hey, honey, what are you doing?
It
It
later?
is very flavorful.
It is. For those of you that can't see what I'm holding up right now, it's like it is. It looks like a mint spray.
Yeah.
But you also have this, which I think is great for couples because it has the mints, the lube, the
It has tingle drops in
Yeah.
there. Kind of gives you like your tongue like a little like vibrating sensation. When
yeah,
you're
and
giving
you
head.
can use it for men and women.
Yeah.
This
And
is
it's
great
good.
stuff.
And there's the little helping head in there, which is like a little tiny, like 1.5-inch masturbator.
Is that what that is? 'Cause I was
yeah,
wondering.
so it's
Okay.
good because like a woman can use that, like put it on her man's shaft, and then like stroke it up and
Oh.
down while she's using her mouth. And because it's small, it
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily get in the way or cover his whole penis.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. But I mean, look, at the
hopefully.
end of the day, that's about 1.5 inches. So
You know,
The
I
angry
get
inch.
Yeah, I get a lot of dick pics. So
You never-
I mean,
God.
some guy.
you never give them the last inch. You know, you always keep that.
Yeah, you always,
Do you get a lot of
little-
dick pics?
Yeah.
400 a day.
Yeah, I bet,
It's
huh?
pretty horrible.
Where? Everywhere, right? Snapchat, Instagram, everything?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Do you
Email.
ever see
Email.
I
one
just
that you're
wake
like,
up to
that's
dick-
actually a good one?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought about holding a contest for the best dick pic
Uh-huh.
and
Oh,
like
God, that
letting
would be
guys get
horrifying.
creative.
That would
There
be
was a
just
guy that did
golf.
like funny dick pics that I like remember seeing a while back.
Mm-hmm.
It was like he would like literally kind of paint little things like on it
Oh,
almost,
Jesus.
and like it was kind of funny.
Be like
but,
the
like-
old play they did in the village, Puppetry of the Penis.
Oh,
It'd
God.
be
Most
like,
dick pics are just so angry, terrible angle.
Yeah. I
What'd
don't
you
know.
say on Dinner with
Or,
Danny?
like,
it's like a gun.
chapter
loaded
1.
Gun. Yeah, did like
Yeah.
chapter 1 in the
Chapter 1,
book. Dick
Yeah.
pics are
for the corn.
horrifying. Yeah, it's like,
Okay, so this too.
Pussy pump.
Pussy
baby.
pump. Do you
ever
sell a
pumped your
lot of
pussy?
these? No,
So
I'm scared.
many.
I'm so scared.
What-
So many.
what's the theory? It brings blood to the area, kind of like
It looks
cupping.
okay for those of you listening.
Yeah.
It looks like one of those like masks you put over your face
For
if you're
oxygen.
yeah, like an oxygen
Yeah,
mask.
it's an oxygen mask.
With a handle.
Always put on your partners first before you put yours
But
on.
yeah, always make sure your partner's pussy is taken care of before.
Always pump your partner's pussy before
you could get
yours.
two and then just do your girlfriend at the same time across a little stream.
This is multifaceted. I mean, one of the things that someone would use a pussy pump for is like, let's say if they have a lower level of sensation, this will help it heighten the sensation by drawing the blood there, right? The other part of this is definitely more in like the kink fetish area
Yeah.
where it's just like pumped up labia lips and that look of like more
Puffy
of like a
and-
puffy
Is this
pussy.
gonna make my
is-
pussy look like when I put my lips in a glass, like a shot glass, and suck on it?
It is, yes.
gonna
But
look-
I mean, it's not like,
Well, that was a visual right there. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't need more descriptions. We're done.
yeah, no, that's exactly what it's going to look like. But
so
it's
can you get off with this? Because I don't know pussy pumps at all.
So this one is vibrating.
Okay.
So it does deliver a nice sensation. Some pussy pumps are not vibrating at all. They're mainly for the blood, pull. But this does vibrate. So again, there are women that are into this sensation.
Yeah. No, I actually want to try
know,
this.
Isn't the generic theory basically pump it up and then go at it
Yeah,
right
I mean,
away?
I would
and get
say
that, yeah.
this is
Okay.
not necessarily for getting off. It's more for like, let's say foreplay, and the vibration just adds a really good sensation, make you more excited, wetter, whatever, and then release
so
the
it's
air
like a
valve.
dick pump.
It's like
Don't pop it
foreplay
off.
by Dyson.
Don't just pop it off. Release the air valve.
Oh my god.
And then go at it. Oral sex or just like having regular sex, and like the sensation
oral sex.
should be heightened.
And it's like like getting my lips done.
Be like,
Yeah.
Be like big and
exactly.
plump and pretty.
how
and
many licks to get to the middle after that one?
Yeah.
That would be
God.
the Tootsie Pop of pumps.
I like this. I don't know pussy pump, and then I don't have it with me, but you do the kink nipple pumps,
We do
suction
nipple pumps. Well,
so
we
I can
do
just do
nipple
both, and I can just be
pumps.
super ready to go.
Yeah, and we do like sort of the traditional like non-vibrating, just like little suction
Those
cups.
I have, yeah,
then
and I
we
like
do
those.
ones that are like literally like vibrating and like electronic like suction like from the nipples.
Yeah.
Like more like the
Have you tried
full-
those?
Yeah, but it doesn't work for me because I got too much brown sugar around my nipples.
Shout out to
You
the
gotta
Rolling.
shave
Shout out
first?
to the
It
Rolling
doesn't-
Stones for that one.
It doesn't work for me.
Oh my god.
What was that
I got
crazy
too much
one?
love rug.
This love rug.
Yeah.
I like hairy guys.
I know the feeling.
I'm married
Yeah,
a
I know the
Sicilian.
feeling.
No, it
This
only
one-
works on
What was
smooth
the
nipples.
Oh,
no, not
this-
that
this
was
one.
Yeah, what was the other one?
What? Oh, the Optimail?
Yeah, what was that the one with the
This one? Yeah.
Yeah.
the sea anemone on the
Can
end
you
of that?
explain
Yeah,
this to me? Because we were like fighting.
we were trying
Yeah,
to
yeah,
like,
yeah.
In the
turn it
living room.
around and figure it out.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll show you. It's better if I
Yeah,
pull it
bust
out.
it out.
Oh, yes.
We have all these like
Excuse
do
me
not
while I
s-
whip this out.
I hate this because we have all these like do not steal stickers, and the truth is they're really good at their job, but they're not good at letting me in when I want to get in.
The do
Yeah.
not steal stickers. Who's a dildo thief?
Oh, dude,
Hey, you'd be
people are
surprised.
stealing from stores, man.
I love I'm just holding the fist.
People are stealing from stores. All right. Let me show you what's up here. Okay, so this is a prostate massager.
Okay.
Okay,
It
and
kind of
this
looks
is-
like a letter L.
This is, yeah, I see that. This is one that we developed that you have vibration here in the
On the bigger
massaging
end.
part. So this
Okay.
is what's going to actually go in the guy's ass, help stimulate the prostate.
Okay.
And then this is cool because this is a perineum massager.
Oh,
so this
okay.
help tickles the perineum.
Otherwise known
But
as the
what's
taint.
good is we've allowed this flexibility where you can actually bend and hold position. So
Yeah.
it's not gonna like go back. So if you want to open it up a little bit more, if you want it to be really tight, and then the kicker, the motherfucking kicker. Let me see if I can get this on. Is the rimmer?
What is
right-
that?
Boom.
Okay, so there's this thing at
Feel
the
that
base
right there. Those
that's
are
like
metal
turning.
beads that are turning inside.
Oh.
So that's gonna give
you
the
get a
guy like some
prostate
rimming.
massage, a rim
Dude,
job,
this is
and your taint tickled.
insane.
So if I
all
turn
at
this
once.
whole thing on,
So you have like a
this
thing
is
in
now
your butt,
vibrating.
a thing around like the opening, a thing
So
in the opening of your
vibration
butt
here,
moving around,
and your taint.
Vibration here,
and the taint.
and you can kind of see how
That
it-
is, oh,
Oh.
it's like an angry finger.
Yeah,
Look at
that's
that.
just like spinning around. that's that right there.
That,
That's-
okay, this I was
All
like,
of you
looking
kids
at
at-
this. I'm like, how does this?
we
this
call
is badass.
we call this the milker.
The milker.
Yeah, I can understand that.
This is the milker right here, guys. You
Well,
put this in.
I
2
want to put that
minutes
in my
later.
pussy.
All of you
Yeah,
kids
you can use this. You can actually use it.
Oh, yeah.
You don't sell it for this, but you could use this in your pussy, and then you
Rim
can
your-
bend
yeah.
this.
Especially because it's not very big, so
you
I
can
feel
bend
like
this for clit stimulation.
yeah.
or the other
and
way.
Turn the vibration on. Well, yeah.
Yeah, flip it
you
around
could.
for anal if you
Oh,
really wanted
yeah.
to. Little tip of the butt.
There
I'm
you
here
go.
for you. I'm here
See,
for
I
you.
like the way you
Yeah.
think.
I'm here for
I
you.
like the way
This is
Creativity.
awesome. I love this. Okay.
But seriously, like all you kids
is
at Cal
good if-
Polytech right now, and you're
What?
looking for an engineering job, I mean, this is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, we
Mom,
got,
Dad, $400,000. I'm making butt plugs.
that's
great.
no. We got a lot of people that are coming into the business. I mean,
Should.
that company that just won that award at CES. It's like the first time like an Ingenuity Award's ever been handed out to a sex toy. And then
But you
there's
got all
another
this
company
virtual
out there,
reality
Lioness.
stuff. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
really cool company, and they're doing stuff with like lasers and like being able to track your orgasms and give women information about like
Fitbit for your
when
pussy.
the best time
awesome.
it is
That
to
is
like
great.
masturbate and like results and all this sort of stuff. It's almost like Masters and Johnson, but like in a vibrator.
Yeah.
So it's like cool. I mean, the stuff isn't necessarily accessible right now, but the fact that people are doing it today lets you know like what is a
But that's
couple
gonna
of
be
years
like
away.
you have your you have your Apple Watch, or I have the Samsung Watch on, and normally it says, "Hey, it's time to get up from your desk." It's gonna say, "Hey, go jerk off. You're stressed."
Yeah,
Yeah,
but like for me, like
or,
I have
like-
different kinds of orgasms.
Yeah.
So if I could trigger different orgasms, depending on what I want better, who wouldn't want to know that?
That's true.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. I mean, it's right now the technology is really expensive. And
But it
I
will
think
come
there,
down,
I think
yeah.
there is a ceiling for sex toys. Like I think that people are willing to spend on a sex toy. There's definitely a ceiling. Some of these items are approaching or passing that ceiling, but the fact that people are doing it is cool. Like
Yeah.
as a sex toy nerd who like likes to see the industry pushed forward in a lot of ways, like it's cool to see that people are doing it. And there are opportunities for people, you know, from these prestigious places to be like, yeah, if you're an engineer, there's actually opportunity here now.
Job.
Like, this isn't just a
You can pay-
vibrator that has like a turn dial.
You can
Yeah.
pay your
You
student
know,
loans.
like, there's actually cool shit being developed, and there's ways to make, like, the thing that we keep pushing, and like I tell people now, like 30 years I haven't known what to tell people I do, right? Because it's like, oh, I make sex toys, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, whatever, blah. Now it's like, to me, I tell people that I'm in the sexual health and wellness business.
Well, you are.
Because like, this is like good for you.
Yeah.
It makes you feel better. There is a wellness associated with what we do, and like trying to figure that out and help people, especially people that have sexual hangups or can't orgasm or haven't really orgasmed or need sort
haven't
of
found
some
the
more
right
of this
kind of
information.
orgasm.
Exactly. So like, there's a lot of stuff that's happening that's like, it is definitely really
Or even
cool.
just like for people that are into things that they might not want to share with other people, like
colon snakes.
colon snakes.
Yeah, I mean, we did not need someone from Caltech for this, I'll be honest.
But hey, you never know. You might want to make sure it fits
This
properly.
is my favorite.
This
This is my favorite toy, besides mine, of course.
This did not come from an
Oh my
MIT
God.
graduate.
No,
Oh my God.
but you
But
can
no, but
feel it in
like-
your throat.
This is a lot safer than someone using like
A
you
gerbil?
know. Oh, okay. Okay, so this is.
Oh, that just looks angry.
I think it says how long. Oh yeah, 20
Angry.
inches.
20 inches. Also dual density though, and
Yeah,
Vaculock
it's super
compatible.
soft. It's kind of stretchy, a little tiny bit.
So you can
and
go
it's like
only
really
as far
bendy.
as you want. Yeah.
And yeah, it goes in your butt, and it'd be kind of cool if you could like mark your progress.
Like when you were growing up
Yep.
as a kid, up on the wall.
Yeah, like I did this.
Like your
and I
height?
was-
Your height.
Yeah.
I was like,
Do you sell a lot of these?
We sell, so everything's relative, right?
Yeah.
We sell a lot for what the item is.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be
'Cause I've
honest,
never seen
until our
anything.
partnership with kink.com, and this is a kink.com item,
makes sense.
you know, there's a lot of things, and that's what we're always looking for in these partnerships too, is like, what can you teach us? And like, we can make great product. You know, so there's a lot of things we worked on with them. All the products are developed with kink.com's people, and they were the ones that were like, we need colon snakes. This is a big thing that people do. This is something that people watch on our site.
I would love to sit in that meeting.
I wanna be
We
on that
need colon
conference call.
snakes
Yeah,
now.
conference
And I'll
call.
be honest, I was like,
Okay.
fuck's a colon snake.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been my question
Like,
too.
I mean, you know, like, I'm not like, you know, I was like, sir, what's a colon snake? Like, no fucking clue what you're talking about. But then I found out, and I was like, all right. I mean, you know, that's always my thing. Is it's like, all right, how can we? Okay, take what you said.
Yeah.
How can we make the best colon snake?
And it's also safe.
out there,
It's
you
safe.
know?
You're not gonna hurt yourself. I mean, like people, you know,
Yeah, but that's
it's super bendy.
It is. Well, it has to. I guess,
know, you
work
gotta
its
snake
way
it
up
up.
and
It's
snake it up.
designed for the purpose as opposed to what every trauma
Ex-
surgeon will
This
tell
is
you was
the,
being pulled out of a guy's
Exactly.
ass.
That's what
yeah.
I'm getting at.
This
exactly.
is the rotor
Absolutely.
rooter.
Exactly.
It's not
So
like a
clean the
mason
plumbing.
jar.
And it has the
This is what Danny did right after the corn.
Yeah, right after the corn, not a clean.
I wouldn't
cleans
even
it
be
all
able to
out.
get this in.
Oh, wow.
I love it. You could also use this for like if you swallow it, like a balloon animal.
Like what?
Like a
to chase
sword?
your
Like
your,
a sword.
Yeah, exactly. Swallow it.
Yeah, that the serpent. That's a crazy item.
I love
All right,
the
we get
serpents.
we get to go to my segment now.
Oh no. Wait, but I have fan
You
questions.
don't have enough time for the fans. Sorry.
Oh, let me just ask one.
We did.
Okay. All right, go ahead. I have so
So-
many good fan questions.
So we
though.
have a little segment called VIX 10.
Okay.
And
All right.
It's just 10 questions we ask everybody, or I ask everybody.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah. Well, sure. I'm scared.
So question number 1 is, what's the most annoying question people ask you?
What's the most annoying question people ask me? I don't know. That's a good question. I guess if they can have if they can have product, I guess.
Can I have something for free?
I mean,
so every time I text you, basically.
but I also never. But I feel bad giving that answer only because I feel like I'm the only person people meet that does what I do.
Right.
Like, I get it at the same time. Like,
Right.
most people are like, oh, I've never met someone that makes sex toys before.
Shocker,
and I'm
yeah.
like, okay, like, I get it. I'm a unique person to you.
You're the fun guy at the
and
bar.
like, so you want to. I would say it's not necessarily so much questions. It's just information about their lives that they
Right.
now want to tell me because they know what I do. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh my God, my boyfriend, this, that, and the other thing. And
Oversharing. TMI.
I'm like, okay. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just go with just like the traditional, like, here's my address,
yeah.
you know?
What is your favorite way to eat a potato?
Baked.
Baked. What would the title of your autobiography be?
More corn, please.
What would you say was the biggest turning point in your life so far?
By the way, the real name of my autobiography would be a coming of age story.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Go ahead. Sorry.
What was the biggest turning point in your life so far?
I think finding out officially what my dad did.
How
for a
old were you
living.
at that point?
I was about 13 when my stepbrother finally was like, "Your dad makes fake dicks for a living," because
It's always a fucking stepbrother.
At-
Santa Claus isn't real.
at that point I had heard things and I had seen things, but I hadn't told anybody about them. So I feel like looking back, there's definitely some like, how did I not tell anybody that I knew certain things? And I would overhear things, and I would hear my dad's story change from time to time for what he did. So I just really thought my dad was like in the mob to some degree, because like every one of my friends' parents were something that you knew what they were.
Yeah.
Like
Right,
I know
right.
what a dentist is. I know what a real estate agent is or whatever. And like my dad was like, I'm an import-export.
So he's James
super
Bond.
shady.
James Bond, and
And it's
Universal
like-
Imports.
And so first of all, there's a certain amount of time where like, I just don't even know what import-export means.
Yeah.
Right,
Like
exactly.
straight up. And then when I started to know what it meant, I was like, import-export of what? Like
And then
bodies? Like, what are you doing? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So I think I would say that would be a good one.
what are you
Wait,
most
wait.
proud
Can
of?
I just cut you off for a second? I put your Buzz liquid stuff on my
Oh,
lips
yeah.
just now.
You're burning?
Prepare to turn off.
Dude, it is intense. So
Yeah.
it's liquid vibrator, and I wanted to ask you about this,
How
and
much
then
did
we
you
ran
put
out of
on?
time. Like a lot.
Yeah, I would have told you. I didn't know you were doing that.
Well, I was looking at it, I was like, liquid Buzz vibrator, and I was like, cool, heightens arousal. And so I put it on my lips.
They're buzzing, right?
Keep them over there, would you?
Yeah.
It feels like static on my face.
Great.
But
But it's for your pussy.
a dab will do you.
Yeah,
Number
no,
one.
I didn't
Yeah,
dab.
obviously.
I put
But
it
I'll
on like
tell
lip
you,
gloss.
Liquid vibrator is like the most perfect name for it, because you put that on your clit
It-
and
yeah.
like it literally feels like you have a vibrator on.
It
and,
is
like, it will
amazing.
get
I'm putting
people
this in my
off.
purse, and this lives there now.
Oh,
Anyway,
take that. Take that.
So what are you most proud of?
Oh, my son now.
Yeah, that's good.
Aww.
What takes up too much of your time?
Honestly, like the minutia of running a business, the HR stuff, and the little things that go on within the company that are just legal requirements or whatever, and regulations and stuff like that just are really just annoying in the sense of they're time consuming. I think a lot of them are good, and I'm not like ranting against like running a business the right way. It's just there's a lot of stuff that is very boring in a lot of ways, and it just takes up a lot of time that is not spent on, like, I don't get to do as much product development anymore and some of the things that I love to do, because this other part will ruin your company if you don't do it
Right.
correctly. And I have to do it, because at the end of the day, it comes down to me to make that decision.
And the more boring it is, the slower the time goes. It's horrifying.
Absolutely. Or like the meeting is like 4 hours for insurance, and then half the people won't take our money because of what we do still.
Yeah.
Like, we're still banking with the, people that, that
Yeah.
whole shit, and insurance is the same way. So,
Yeah, it's horrible.
only one person will insure us, and they want to charge us 14 times what, another company would charge. So that type of shit sucks.
What's your favorite smell?
These are good questions.
they're good.
I wish I had better answers. I feel like a schmuck now.
Now you're doing good.
What's my favorite smell? My bed when it's clean.
Clean
Ooh,
sheets. Yeah, I
good
can
choice.
see that. What gets you fired up?
Competition.
Any kind?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up like playing competitive sports, and it's still what I love the most. And I think within my industry now, like, it's very competitive. There's a lot of people out there, and it's like, I like it because I think it furthers the industry as a whole. But then I also like fucking owning people.
Yeah.
And like, so
That's awesome.
like, I don't
That's how
play
you run a good business.
I don't play the sports. I don't play sports the way that I used to, and they're just not as competitive.
Mm-hmm.
So this, like, that gets me fired up, is like knowing that I can fucking ruin someone or like go to war with someone, like, competitively in business.
I love it. What do you wish you knew more about?
What do I wish I knew more about? History.
And
That was my answer.
Final
Was
question. What is the one question you would want everyone you meet to answer?
So one question that I meet that say that again.
What's the one question you would want everyone you meet to answer?
What gets them off?
Makes sense.
It would help me.
So with that, let's go to the last segment, which we call shameless plugs.
Oh, I like to. Do you have a drop for that? Like, shameless
Shameless
plugs.
We
Oh,
need
yeah.
a
Oh,
drop
yeah.
for shameless plugs.
We're just gonna use that audio.
Wait, can I ask one question before we go? Because
Yeah,
I don't know
sure.
how much longer we have. Is my two onions like a whiskey scotch thing?
No,
Like,
our last name means onion in Italian.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
oh,
two onions.
okay. Oh, nice. Oh,
Here's the fun fact that everybody, this will be episode like 4, will figure out. I'm actually
okay.
allergic
My
to
two
onions.
All right, I like
Yeah.
that. It's a
No one-
completely unsexual name.
That's
Yeah,
what
exactly. That
That's
was
why
the-
I picked it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
It's
because I
like-
had the Dani Daniels show, and when we brought this back, and I made him my co-host
like,
against his will.
Yeah, this was a bit torturous process.
He's
to
like,
make me
okay,
the
we'll bring back the
co-host.
Dani Daniels show. I was like, no, I want something that's not sexual at
Okay.
all. That
Yeah.
people are like, what the fuck name is that? And
Yeah,
that,
my
Yes,
two onions.
my two onions, so-
By the way, you hit the nail on the head. Ben.
and like the side note is, I'm actually allergic to onion.
Is that true?
Absolutely
oh, that's very,
true.
That's
Send us the
very
funny
funny, by the way.
oh yeah.
That's very funny.
So what do you want to plug?
Shame. Wait, I want to plug something.
Plug away.
If you want to buy any of these toys that you've seen and heard today, go to shopdocjohnson.com and use my code DANI20, DANI20, for 20% off.
For all
you
of
stole my plug.
For all of you people out there who constantly write my wife about what we can do to make our sex life better, DocJohnson.com. The code is Danny20.
No, I know. I did. I
DANI.
get a lot of couples
Lots of
asking,
them.
and a lot of people asking for like toy advice. So go buy them. Go treat yourself. Treat
I'll
yourself.
plug our social media.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'll be like, at Doc Johnson USA is our Instagram. That's the best
Hysterical.
place. From there, you can find the rest of our social media, but it's a very good account to follow. I don't let people follow me, but I'm at Chatty B on Instagram.
Why did you tell them? You're just gonna
And now
tease
you're gonna have a
them.
shitload of
do you
people.
do you know that we molded Carly Red the other day, and she tagged me personally
Oh shit.
Oh,
in an
dude.
Instagram.
Oh no. So you
which
got a
I don't even
bunch?
know how she found my thing. I had 400 people a day,
Oh, I'm sure.
like blowing up my
I'm
Instagram,
sure.
like for like requesting the follow because I'm private. Because
Yeah.
like literally my Instagram is boring as fuck. It's just my kid and my dog, and every once in a while some work stuff, and like I was just like. Nope. But then the next day, like another 400, and I was like, okay, no.
Now you're gonna get it
Which
all
like
over
I
again.
never get. Like I don't get people following me. I get maybe like 5
You
a
will now.
week or
Oh,
something.
you will now.
You will now.
Hit me up.
You go, babe.
Me?
Shameless.
Mine says shameless plug. Wait for the Corn. It's on Amazon. Go buy it. You can learn all about what it's like to be married to a porn star.
And I wrote the forward.
And
I
you
did
wrote
a
the forward.
thing.
Yeah, you did a thing.
It's
I did a
funny. I
thing.
like it, babe.
It is.
I know. We actually have it today.
We actually have it today. Yeah, it's taken a little while for them to show up. All of the people who ordered them got the books, but the guy who wrote it took a week and a half.
Oh,
before I sent it to
Good.
him.
Is this your first one?
That's
Yeah,
my
it's
first
his
one.
first
Yeah.
I was like, you're like carrying it around.
Yeah,
like this
like,
happened.
This is it.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm gifting it to you, so you can.
Oh, you
can-
are?
yeah.
I really do want to read this, by the
Yeah.
way. Oh, this is good.
It's a pretty quick read, but
I'm
it's,
gonna
it's
read
fun.
it on my flight home to LA.
Yeah.
There you
Yo,
go.
you'll
Yeah.
get through it.
Oh, beautiful.
And
Mine.
you? Yes.
My shameless plugs are follow me on Instagram at AKA Dani Daniels. Go buy my holes at Shop Doc Johnson, code Danny20. And
And
yeah,
your Snapchat.
my Snapchat,
What's your
sucking all the
Snapchat?
D, swipe up.
God, I wish you were still sucking all the dicks
I
on Instagram.
know. I had to change it.
Yeah,
And dailybush.com, DaniDaniels.com. You can buy my merch at shopddbox.com. You can watch the TV show dinnerwithdanny.com. All the .coms.
Yeah, there's a lot of
I have a lot.
something with DannyInit.com.
Yeah.
So,
I love it.
well, thank you
glad
for
you're
coming.
here.
Thank you guys. I'm so happy we got to do this in
Yeah.
person.
And thanks for all the dicks.
Yeah, and all the
And the
And
serpent.
the colon snake.
Yeah, I'm taking these home with
yeah,
me.
and the pussy pump, which should be interesting.
You guys are gonna have fun. I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
We
This
will
will
be
be
a
in the
focus
this will
group.
be in the sequel.
Yeah, it'll be the secret book.
Still waiting for
Still
corn.
waiting for the corn. The corn has
I just
arrived.
keep pushing it up.
Still waiting.
Still waiting.
And on that note,
And on that
thank
note,
you guys
thanks
for
everybody.
listening.
Bye.